Hey people! Okay, so what am I talking about in this video? I am talking about how to effectively plan your week, really prioritizing what you need to work on and breaking it down into many tasks so you can actually get it done. I've also created a free PDF for you. So if you head on over to nachesnow.com/weekly planner, then you will get my weekly spreads and also a monthly spread that you can use in order to just write down what you need to do before you transfer it into maybe your digital calendar. So head on over there and definitely print everything out. And then let's now talk about how to effectively use these sheets. Okay, folks, so let's talk about this free weekly goal planner that I have for you all. Of course, at any given time, just go to nachesnow.com/weekly planner so you can download it for free. I tried to make it all cute and beautiful for you guys, so I hope you like that. If you print out this top page, you can actually like cut these out and then put them in your journal if you're a journaler or a scrapbooker. But let me just go over these sheets really quickly. You'll see that I have written in some things already in some of the other sheets just for the sake of time. But the first page, really, I just talk about why it's important to use like some kind of planner or journal in order to figure out what you're going to be working on. I also talk about how it's important to have a routine. If you don't have a routine, then you won't stick with your planner or planning out things, which is why you might have on your shelf a bunch of journals and planners that you've never used because you didn't really have a routine in a place to really support the habit of using our planner or journal. So I recommend every Sunday morning, get up, and as soon as you get up, make a cup of coffee and tea, and then just take like 15-20 minutes and just plan out your week. And then from there, you can add it to your digital calendar. You can carry your journal around with you, whatever, but at least you know what you should be focusing on any given day. So I, for example, use a bullet journal. So here's kind of like an example from an April spread. And, I have each day planned out, but I woke up on Sunday. Now, this might be too much for people. That's why I say if you want to just use a planner that's already pre-made, definitely do that. Or a digital calendar, I totally understand. But I like doing something creative on Sundays. So I get up on Sundays, I'll create my spread, put my little washi tape down, think about how I want the spread to be laid out, and then I'll go ahead and write down what I think I'll be doing any given day. And then also I'll have things that are on my to-do list. So sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short, but that's how I plan things out. And then I just close my little book up and throw it in my purse, and then through the day I might add stuff on there that maybe wasn't on the schedule for that day but I ended up doing, so I'll just add it onto the page for that day. And then that way I can like even track things that maybe I didn't even plan on doing in the first place, but it just allows me to understand kind of like where my time is going. Okay, so big thing there, have a routine. That's every Sunday morning for me, and that's what I recommend. And then prioritizing. So what I do is I'm like, okay, what are the top things I want to focus on for the week? And then I create many tasks throughout the week that I want to get done in order to accomplish that goal. But then also for any given day, I also make sure that I look at like, okay, what are the top 3 priorities for that day, which I'll show you what that looks like. And then last thing I have is like after you fill out the sheets here, what I recommend is adding things that need reminders into a digital calendar. And in that way, it forces you to actually execute the things that you've planned out on that Sunday. Okay, so you guys see that this is like a weekly goal sheet filled out. And now, and you know what, even before I go there, sorry, this is kind of like out of order a little bit. Let me clean this up. All right. Real time adjustments, people. Okay, so the next thing that you'll see in your packet is mobile apps that will give you back time, because I think it's important, like, okay, you know what you're gonna do for the week, but you need to make sure that those like little things, the other little things that you need to do aren't sucking up your time. So in the PDF, I've also included like my favorite apps to use, and I use them, if not on a daily basis, at least on a weekly basis. So definitely check that out. It's in the free PDF. And then, okay, and then in the PDF, I have like multiple pages of like week spreads that you could print out and use. And then here's one that's filled in, but I also want to show you guys like the monthly calendar that I have for you too, and how these work together. So what I recommend is, number one, for the monthly calendar, put in any holidays or appointments or things that you know you have to do throughout the month. So every Sunday when you're planning out your week, you can make sure that you're planning around whatever dates that you've put in. And so when you wake up on Sunday, you pull out one of these sheets and you're like, okay, what are the top 3 things that I want to accomplish for the week? And then what you're gonna do is create mini tasks for those top 3 things that you want to do. However, real life, right? You have other things that you also need to accomplish during the week. So what you want to do is every day incorporate a mini task that you need to do that's working towards your main goals, but then put other things into your top 3 priorities for each day that you know you have to get done. So let me just quickly explain what I mean by that. So my top 3 goals for this week, I'm going to say photo shoot, and I'm being very specific. Photo shoot for news shop items, so mugs and t-shirts. I want to create a newsletter. I want to come up with topics and gather content. And then I want to work out 3 times a week. So these are 3 things that I think I can actually do during the week. And know that for my planning purposes, this is not for my 9 to 5. I usually use like calendars like this for my nights and weekends for my side hustle. For my 9 to 5, I have a completely different planner that I use. I use some of course, the same tips, but for the purposes of this example, these are the things that I want to accomplish on my nights and weekends towards my side hustle, okay, or different side hustles. So I want to do these 3 things. So how I've done it is I'm gonna start backwards. So I want to work out 3 times a week. So I made sure that I want to work out on Monday, I want to work out on Thursday, and I want to work out on Saturday. And I made it a top priority on Monday because I'm like, okay, if I don't do anything else, I want to start my week out right. So my top priority for Monday is going to be working out. Whereas on Thursday, I was like, oh, probably I know I'll have something else I'll need to focus on. So that'll be my priority number 2. And by Sunday, I made it priority number 3 because I know on Sundays it could be a little crazy. I've also added things in here that aren't part of my top 3 week goals that I know I need to do. So for example, I have meet a friend on Tuesday. So that's going to be the top priority because it's already scheduled. I have, I have a podcast interview on Wednesday. So since that's already scheduled, that has to be the top priority on Wednesday. And then, so you want to add, other things that aren't necessarily part of your top 3 in here, so you can figure out how you can get your top 3 done with also prioritizing other things that you may have already had scheduled for the week. So another thing I wanted to do was the newsletter, right? Topic and gather content and figure out my topics. So I broke it down on Monday. I'm going to brainstorm newsletter ideas. On Tuesday, I'm going to create 4 subject lines for my newsletter. On Thursday, I'm going to research and gather maybe some photos for the newsletter. And then on Saturday, I'm going to set up everything in ConvertKit, paste my content in there, make sure everything is set up, and then schedule it out, right? So I have like 3 or 4 mini tasks for that newsletter, and so to make it doable. And so that doesn't mean like, let's say on Thursday, if I find that I have more time, I can't like do something I plan to do on Saturday. I could definitely do it, but initially I'm just chunking it out just to make sure that I actually follow through and do something on any given day. And then my photo shoot, which is my top priority, it's interesting. I'm going to wait until Friday because I know since I work during the week, I'm not going to have good light to the weekend. So on Friday, my second priority for that day is prep area for photo shoot and gather props. And then on Saturday is my photo shoot day. And then also my second priority is like to start editing the photos from that photo shoot. And then on Sunday, I have post photos from shoot on Shopify. So you see how I've kind of like breaking everything down. And then also I want you to notice that every day I don't have like 3 things that I have to get done. So on Wednesday, I just had a podcast interview and I kept it empty. On Thursday, I don't have a third priority, nor do I have one on Friday. But just in case something happens and I need to move things around, I can do that. So for example, on Tuesday, I have meet a friend, clean kitchen, and then create 4 subject lines for newsletter. But maybe my meeting with a friend goes long. I come home, kind of clean up the kitchen a little bit. I'll just move that newsletter over to Wednesday because I know I have the space to do it. So, of course, you can do this with home-related stuff, work-related stuff, whatever. But the point is that at least you know what your top 3 goals are for the week, and you're breaking them down into mini tasks and figuring out what days you can do those things. And then for this monthly calendar, you can not only put in like special dates that you have things already set up, but you could also put in like a little shorthand of what you've decided to do. So for Monday, I have workout, post on social, and engage. And then I have brainstorm newsletter idea. So I'll put workout, social, and newsletter. I know those are my top 3 priorities for that day. And, that Tuesday, or either that Monday night, I'll mark off what I actually got done. And let's say I didn't get to do something on any given day, then I'll just scratch it out and then write it in another day. So I can remember like, okay, I didn't get to do that newsletter on Tuesday, but I'm gonna do it on Wednesday instead. So I scratched out newsletter here and wrote it there because now it's moved. So it just helps you just get a snapshot of what you want to do. So I hope that helps a little bit, trying to be quick here, just to be mindful of your time. But now on this sheet, it says month, so you can write in the month here, which I did July. I wrote in the dates just at the top right corner, but you can write them anywhere you feel. And then I have top goals for week 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for this particular one, my top goal was the photo shoot. So I'm like, no matter what, I want to have that photo shoot done at the end of week 1. Of course, it's ideal if I get all 3 done, but my number 1 goal is that photo shoot. So this is kind of how you can quickly plan out your week and then adjust things. You could do this in pen, pencil. They also have this, it's called a Pilot Friction, and you can, let's say I wrote I can't spell, newsletter here. I'm just gonna let that dry real quick. But it's erasable, so you could use erasable pen if you don't like to scratch things out, or if you don't like pencil. So that's kind of nice for using on planners too. So if you kind of like this idea, can't wait to check it out, you do it and you're like, this works for you, and you want more ideas on how you can organize your life in order to make time for your passion and the things that you need to do, definitely check out my course, which is at nachesnow.com/time. And there I really go into more detail on how you can organize your life, use apps and software and calendars and all the things in order to make sure your home is running good, make sure your life is running good, make sure your biz is running good. Like, I'm really just gonna give you guys all the intel. So if you've enjoyed this and this works for you, definitely think about taking the course. And in the comments below, let me know what you do in order to stay organized. Do you prioritize things like this? Do you have another method of doing it? And then, of course, I give you guys my favorite apps to give you time back. What are your favorite apps? I'd love to hear from you and learn about your different techniques. So please comment below. All right, don't forget to download the sheet, and thanks for giving me your time.